大家好，Oliver Branch style. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about something a little bit more serious, and that is a fatty liver. Now, the repercussions of a fatty liver is a little bit more dangerous than just having some fat around the butt. The rate of fatty liver disease in China has doubled in over 2 decades now, and it continues to grow exponentially. So there's alcoholic fatty liver disease, and then there's also non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, we all know that if you drink too much alcohol, it will wreck your liver. But what you may not be as aware about is that if you don't drink alcohol at all, you can still wreck your liver almost exactly the same way. So what is fatty liver disease? Well, as the name suggests, a fatty liver is when you have a lot of fat cell accumulation in the liver. Now, when you have a lot of fat cells, it also causes a lot of inflammation in the liver, which means it produces a lot of reactive oxygen species, ROS, also known as free radicals. And when they're left unchecked, then they can actually start to damage the DNA in your liver cells, causing cancer. Also, when there's too much fat production in the liver, then that can actually start to lead to scarring of the liver. So as you can see, any scar on the skin, it's actually a tough fibrous collagen that actually does not perform or function well. And so when that happens, your liver can eventually lead to cirrhosis. The liver is such an important organ that actually is the biggest organ in your body, except for your skin. And that means that if you get liver cancer or it starts to fail, then you need a liver transplant immediately or you can die. Now, it is also the headquarters of your metabolism. So basically all energy production and digestion actually is responsible from the liver. So because when your liver gets fat, it's on the inside. So if you're skinny, or you're not obese, it still doesn't mean that your liver is healthy. So you don't really actually know based on the size of your body composition. This is a very important point because you might think you're actually healthy because you're not fat, but deep down inside, and you can refer to my skinny fat video, it actually has a risk of potentially very, very dire consequences. So how do you get a fatty liver? Well, as discussed earlier, one way is by drinking too much alcohol. Alcohol is a toxin for the body, and so the liver has to process it. And when it does that, the byproduct is actually fat cells that accumulate, as well as inflammation. A lot of reactive oxygen species come out, and so that's a lot of damage for the liver. The second point is bad oil will also affect your liver. As mentioned in my previous video on what bad oils are consist of, mainly vegetable oils, grain, seed oils, as they actually produce a lot of free radicals as well, and that will be damaging to the liver. The last is your carbohydrates, glucose, which will increase your insulin production, which makes your liver more insulin resistant, causing more fat accumulation in the liver, but all inflammation as well will be produced from it. Fructose, which is the sweet sugar type from candies and even from fruit juice, can cause a lot of inflammation in the liver because the liver is the only place that can actually metabolize fructose. When these are all combined together, which is typical of an unhealthy meal, then it's actually too much for the liver to process, and a lot of fat starts to accumulate and inflammation, hence leading to fatty liver if left unchecked. So this is very important for you to understand, is that just because you don't drink or you actually look skinny or somewhat fit doesn't mean you don't have fatty liver disease. This is important because a lot of people who are actually just looking at your body composition to determine how healthy you are can be misled. There's a lot of genetics that actually can hide that subcutaneous fat. So if you're eating a bad diet, you can still be fat on the inside. Your visceral fat and your liver can still get fat. And that is actually more dangerous than just looking fat. Lastly, guys, you need to understand that the children in China are actually also being diagnosed with fatty liver disease. And this is very, very alarming because this used to be for people who are a little bit older. But now that it's affecting the young, it's definitely reflecting how our diet has really changed and for the worse, especially with a lot of refined carbohydrates like candies and chips and soda and sweetened milk tea. This is really impacting our young, and that's a big, big red flag. So in conclusion, guys, understand that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease as well as alcoholic fatty liver disease is a very serious disease that is life-threatening. And it's a growing problem in China that is now impacting our young, our children. And so this is why it's very important that you consider your lifestyle decisions because it has a big impact on this disease. Thank you very much. I hope you found that useful. And as always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.